Hello, Frakamasio. So today I'm coming with a quick overview, well, not so quick overview on a house. The owner was so kind to send me a sample set. The house that we're going to be looking at today is called Bortnikoff by Dimitry, co-founder of Feel Oud along with Russian Adam. So if you know Feel Oud, you know that they have this shared passion about oud or the distillation of oud, and then their quality is top notch. So obviously it's interesting or intriguing to see what he has come up with in EDP forms or spray form. So before I go into that, my scent of the day is Answer Oud number 1, beautiful, stunning, complex, authentic, raw by polished leather oud. Just an amazing fragrance. I need to wear more to grasp the nuances that I get out of it. But then if you're really into authentic leather, raw, leathery feel, then definitely give this one a try. Sample it because it's kind of expensive, but I think it's well worth it. But even the casing, the way it smells is just amazing. And then how authentic the leather casing is, that's the same feel that I get from the leather note in this fragrance. So enough of that. That was my scent of the day. Now, back onto Bortnikoff, Dimitry, the founder. So obviously, people that have been following Areej Doree by Russian Oud will wonder what the comparison is between these two houses. Is there an overlap? Is it worth exploring both? So I'm going to do a quick comparison, at least from my experience, what I get out of the two houses, and before I tackle the 3 fragrances or samples that were sent to me. And then at the end, I'm going to be giving those away, so stay tuned for that. Now, onto the comparison. What I've noticed between the two houses, so starting with Areej Doree, I've been there since the beginning, Siberian Musk, Oud Zen. What I've noticed all the way up to now, what I've noticed from Russian Adam, what he highlights, power, raw, textured, natural ingredient is the focus of what you get out of this house. Bold, creative, unapologetic there in the direction of his creations. He just tends to pick one set of accords and then builds around it. So when you pick most of his fragrances, you're going to see a main theme and then the build around it. Of course, the fragrances transition, they evolve, they change over time, but you still get that main identity throughout and then the build around it. So with that though, being bold, showing off the beautiful texture of the natural ingredient that he's using though, with that comes the wearability factor. For me, it was a pleasure and then a delight to sample his fragrances and own them. But I've heard from a couple of people that they were too bold and then not as wearable as they would like it to be. Now, fast forward, and then Dimitry is coming off with his brand, Bortnikoff. The contrast there is that you're going to find, at least from what I notice here, is that Bortnikoff come off more polished. The blends are a little bit more balanced than what I get from Areej Doree. He still displays the beautiful texture, natural ingredient that he's using. Of course, a little bit of synthetics that he is adding there for longevity to supplement and all that. But you still get the quality of the ingredients there, but it's more balanced, refined. So with that, it goes without saying that they are more wearable than Areej Doree. And then what I've said before, from Areej Doree, you get a central theme, concise, but then you build around it. What I've noticed in Bortnikoff is that you get a set of or groups of accords, but they're not competing for attention, or one is not imposing over the others. They're pretty much well balanced and then behave there. So those are the main differences. So for people that are looking solely or that have been going after Areej Doree because of that bold, raw, texture, natural ingredient, and then just concise and not looking to please any one type of approach to fragrance making, I would say they might think that Bortnikoff comes off a little bit shy, reserved, and not as bold. But if you're not constrained to that particular fragrance set, you're not only looking for that. I would say definitely sample this house, because I think the refinement and the balances that come with the house, or the offering from the house, is quite amazing. And then the wearability factor there is to count. For people that have been looking at Areej Doree and thinking that is too bold, not something that they could wear, I would say give the house of Bortnikoff a try, because the wearability factor is still there, creativity is still there, you get the quality of ingredient as well, but it is much more wearable, but it still preserves that little bit of kick or excitement and the creativity in there. Now, without prolonging the comparison there, let's jump into my favorite out of the bunch. So we're going to start with Mysterious Oud. So I have the notes here, and I have my notes on my computer here. Really complex fragrance, so I'm trying to be as accurate as when I was recording my notes. So I'm going to go through that. So at the top, what I'm getting, I get a sweet orange and bergamot. And I get a spicy green ambery quality that is probably coming from the cardamom at the top, along with the amber shamama that is added, and then the citrusy sweet accord, orange accord that I'm talking about. Listed here is orange and bergamot. That's what I get out of the top, and it does the tops really well. They're juicy, they feel natural, and then they just grab you from the opening. So as it evolves, like I've mentioned at the top, sweet orange, spicy cardamom, and then a spicy ambery quality there is further reinforced by this beautiful sweet spicy clove accord. There's a little bit of dry cinnamon, but most noticeably I get a sweet resinous accord that is coming from the opoponax. So it is sweet, almost chewy texture there that is brought by the opoponax, and I also get a little bit of sweetness coming from tonka. That's pretty much what I get like about 10 minutes in. So you're gonna get sweet orange, spicy green cardamom, ambery feel, further reinforced by the sweet spicy cloves there, and then a sweet resinous accord from the opoponax. Now to counterbalance that though, as it evolves, you get the addition of a beautiful floral bouquet that has an animalic tone to it. And then I think the animalic tone is coming from castoreum that is listed here. And then the main floral accords that I get out of here is the rose and then the jasmine. The animalic floral accord kind of reminded me of, not the same, but kind of reminded me of Feel Oud by Areej Doree, but here much toned down, much smoother, not as aggressive or bold as Areej Doree. So it goes without saying that I really enjoyed that stage of Mysterious Oud as well, because of the connection with Feel Oud, at least the sync that I had there. So you get the addition of that floral animalic accord, not too floral, because the castoreum is kind of restraining it a little bit, and it's helping tone the sweetness that you get from the opoponax. But I have to tell you, the opoponax, or the sweetness, the resinous feel, stays there throughout the wearing the fragrance, along with the ambery feel to it. And down the line, to further refine or balance the sweetness, you get a set of oud accords that come in. And then what I get out of the oud is nothing really barnyard. Even though indie oud is listed here, I don't get something that is barnyard or too challenging. What I get is a balsamic, really woody, and then leathery touch there that is coming from the set of oud notes. So again, nothing overly barnyard. It has a slight kick to it that is kind of regulating the sweetness that you get from the opoponax. Still get sweetness, but is regulating that in a sense that it helps balance that over time. So the oud is adding that beautiful woody, leathery, balsamic backbone to the fragrance as it dries down. And then during the dry down, also get a little bit of creamy sandalwood that is noticeable. So overall, this fragrance comes off sweet resinous, andalic, slightly animalic, floral, spicy accords from the cardamom, the shamama, attar accord there with the cloves. And then during the dry down, I get this oud that has a balsamic, leathery touch, and then strong woody component to the fragrance. That's pretty much the main accords that I get out of Mysterious Oud. Like I said, a lot of moving parts, highly complex, but when you wear it, you see the harmony in the notes that he has created there. Again, well polished, not too daring, wearable, but still has that kick to it. So that's what I'm getting out of this fragrance, and performance is just stellar on this one. So next we're going to be looking at Bonheur, which means happiness. And then one of the keynotes that is here actually hints at that or portrays that vibe of happy, smiley face. Now, at the top, what I get is a citrusy, green, spicy cardamom. Again, beautiful tops that he's known for here so far that I've noticed in these three offerings here. But pretty quickly, though, I get the addition of something that is textured and sweet. Now, for people that are not familiar with the note of, I don't know how to pronounce this, the other name for it is marigold. I think it's Tajit or Tajitis. Well, if you know how to pronounce it, let me know down in the comment section. But then that note is the equivalent of marigold. So if you're not familiar with that note, you're going to think that is a juicy orange or mandarin note that is added to the fragrance, but it's actually marigold. And I have the ingredient here or the note here at full strength. And what this is, if you're not, again, familiar with the note, if you think of the opening, only the opening of Bal d'Afrique, there's this sweet, almost fruity, like floral accord that is at the top. That's what marigold smells like, but here it is much thicker, textured at full strength. So I was curious when I saw the note here of marigold, because at full strength, when I was playing with this, is a hard note, at least for me, I'm a beginner, is a hard note to play with because of how powerful that smell is. At full strength, you get this intense contrast between herbal and then textured sugar sweetness to the fragrance. Is just really intense here. And then when you dilute it, you get more of a subtle, beautiful nuances between the contrasting herbal and then sweet facets. In this fragrance, Bonheur, the sweet textured sugary facet is what is more noticeable. So imagine at the top you get citrusy bergamot along with a spicy green cardamom, and then pretty quickly you get this textured, beautiful, almost slightly floral accord that is coming from the marigold, contrasting with that spicy green accord there. Now, paired with that spicy green, juicy bergamot and sweet marigold tone, I also get a set of floral notes. Now, I'll get champaca and frangipani. Now, most people that don't like florals might be turned off by now, but don't be, because the facets of those two notes that are prominent on my skin, at least, are not the floral lush elements. Usually when you think of frangipani and champaca, people think of lush, floral, concise type of identities there. But here, the facets that are showing on my skin are more of the hay-like, slightly earthy, slightly tea-like facets that I get. So it's not overly floral. So I get that along with the sweetness. So it helps balance the sweetness from the marigold and then the spicy, citrusy green cardamom that you get at the top. And then that floral, not too floral component is actually preparing you for something that is amazing in the dry down. You get the addition of ambergris. That adds more of a feel than a component that is like front and center. So if you remember, or if you've tried Atlantic Ambergris by Areej Doree, there the ambergris note is front and center, bold, just there. You can't miss it. Here is adding more of an effect. It's not as bold as what you get in Atlantic Ambergris, but you do get the same quality of ambergris, but toned down and mostly adding a feel, like a slightly sultry, salty sea breeze, like a core to the fragrance. And then when I think that the fragrance is done developing, I get the most beautiful surprise of one of my favorite notes in perfumery, that is oak moss. Here it is faint, is adding that slight mossy quality to the fragrance, but is preparing you to the emerging vetiver here. So the transition is just perfect here. So you get you go from that slightly mossy quality and then leading to that vetiver note that has that dry woody character, but also has that vegetal feel to it. When the vetiver starts emerging, I do like the aspect of it, but as the vetiver develops, that's where I kind of I'm indifferent to the dry down, and that's not because the fragrance is bad or anything, or the dry down is boring. It's because of my history with vetiver. Vetiver is not a note per se that I love. And then here, as it develops or as it dries down, I get more and more of the vegetal facet rather than the woody facet of it. So that's where I'm still on the fence. But if you love vetiver and then you like that contrast of dry, woody, like not too smoky, but almost smoky transition to vegetal-like facet to it, you're gonna love this fragrance from the opening till the dry down. But for me, the last hours of wearing this fragrance, where the vetiver is turning more to a vegetal state, is what didn't sell me enough to think about getting a bottle. But again, the second time and then third time I wore it, I'm fine with the dry down, but it's not the most exciting part of the fragrance for me. But for people that are liking vetiver, you're definitely gonna like the dry down. And then this one shifts and morphs throughout the fragrance, like you've noticed. So it starts with the citrusy, green spicy, cardamom. Then you get a little bit of texture, sweetness to it. Then you get florals with more of hay-like, herbal, slightly earthy tones, and then tea-like tones, balancing that sweetness. Then you get a sultry, salty, almost sea breeze-like ambergris that just adds that sensual feel to the fragrance. Then you get a transitioning link there from the mossy feel to the vetiver in the dry down. The blend is smooth. You're not gonna find rough edges, but then you still get those beautiful textured natural ingredient along with the transitions throughout the wearing of the fragrance. It lasts a long time, and then like I said, blend is perfect. So this one is another one that I like, but the dry down is kind of, I'm still on the fence, so I'm gonna try it again one more time and then see if I can pick up a bottle. The funny thing is, Dimitry is making such an effort to make it affordable. So I think now the sample size is a lot smaller, but then a lot more affordable. You can go to the site to check the prices. He's also offering 30 ml and then 50 ml. So great effort on his part there. I really appreciate that he's doing that so it's affordable to most people. Last but not least, we're looking at Coup de Foudre, which means love at first sight. This one is probably the most balanced or smooth fragrance out of his line. It just comes off so rounded that it's so hard to pick up what this fragrance is doing. Obviously you have the notes here, but if you were to close your eyes and then kind of think what this one smells like, you're gonna get some kind of approximation. Pretty much is gonna be a set of floral bouquet, mostly white florals. You're gonna get a little bit of kick, spiciness to it, and then you're gonna get a creamy sandalwood attached to it. But to talk to the progression of what I get out of this fragrance is pretty much at the top. Again, his tops you're gonna notice with the all three. Just juicy, refreshing. It will grab you. You can smell the naturalness of the ingredient that he's using. It's just amazing. So you have to try it to get what I'm trying to say here. So you're gonna get a sweet orange, which is mentioned here, and then you're gonna get lemon bits. Just a slightly sweet sour tone to it, but in the background. And then you're gonna get like a fuzzy citric feel that is coming from grapefruit. But pretty quickly though, that is pushed down by a set of floral notes. And then mostly what I'm getting is a silky smooth jasmine, and I get some type of plumeria like a core. And then down the line, I get a little bit of lily of the valley. But again, like I said, it's hard to kind of discern exactly what the florals are. So overall, think of a white floral bouquet, smooth, not overly floral, but you do get that delicate, silky, white floral tone to it. And then balancing that down the line, though, I also get a creamy sandalwood. The main attraction for me in this fragrance is pretty much how smooth it is, and then the pairing between the floral bouquet and then the creamy sandalwood. But that being innocent, you also get an interesting, slightly kick of spiciness in this fragrance that is telling you, okay, this is refined. It is innocent, but there's something more to it, and then you're curious about it. That's how I perceive this fragrance. So talking to that reserved spicy kick is pretty much coming from carnation that is adding a slightly warm, spicy touch to the floral bouquet, and then also black pepper that is adding this slightly dark and freshness to the fragrance. Like I said, really refined, elegant, showing that innocent facet of the fragrance, but also giving you something to look forward to because of that subtle kick that is not overtaking the fragrance, but is still there, like making you want more and more. This will be stunning on a woman, easily can be pulled by a man. And this is what I have left of the sample, so I'm going to give those away. All you have to do is just comment, let me know if you've tried anything from the house. Which one is your favorite? If you've not tried, which one do you think will appeal the most to you? Are you a fan of Areej Doree? Do you think this is too conservative and it's not something that you will go for? As for me, right now, Messieurs Oud definitely is going to be something that I'm going to be grabbing. Coup de Foudre, I will definitely get that because I think it's central. For Bonheur, I have to try again for the Vetiver Dry Down. If anything, I'm going to probably get a 30 ml of Bonheur. So really pleased with this line. I'm excited to see what he's going to come up with in the second release. But definitely something worth trying. Again, thank you for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and then take